So presumably there was evolutionary advantage, or there still is, to tell stories. I mean, what is it that this does that other animal species don't do?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's hard to answer by appealing to clear data because we don't have other species that tell things that are like stories but not quite in order to compare it to, right? So this is going to take us into the realm of speculation. But if you think about stories as being a specific kind of communication, then we can ask what's special about that kind of communication. And I think part of what stories do is that they don't just communicate information, like A caused B or A happened before B. They also communicate something about the moral judgments, the evaluations, the feelings that we ought to have that go along with that information, right? So if I tell you a story of the form A caused B caused C, that's really boring and you're not going to remember it. But instead I tell you that, I'll give you a concrete example from psychology, right? So suppose I'm telling you about a car accident that happened. If I say one car bumped into another car or contacted another car, that's very different from saying A smashed into the other car, right? Subtle difference in which words I used, but it's constructed a different mental image in your head. And it's probably going to lead you to different judgments about who was at fault, should you be mad, and so on. Right?
So and it's something we're going to remember then. And I think probably partly because the good stories tend to have emotion in them, right?
That's right. If you think about what makes a good story, it often has a lot of emotion. It often has a lot of perceptual detail, right? Good stories sort of paint pictures in your head. And they're not just visual pictures. They can also be what somebody's voice sounded like, what it felt like, right? So they really play into all of our senses. And we know from studies in psychology that that's going to have benefits for memory. People are going to remember that better. And we also know that it's going to allow you to do a better job of understanding something from the perspective of the person who is telling the story or who had that experience. You really can put yourself in their shoes when you have all of those features of a story that you're not going to just get with a sort of account that tells you that A caused B caused C.